We are all sailing in this one ship. We must come together to scoop out the water that has been sipping, or we shall capsize. We have traveled too far to turn back. We would never make it back to the shore.
This marks a new beginning for our country, a beginning in which we hope that we shall march together as Kenyans, and that we can differ in terms of political alignment, but always remain steadfast and united in matters Kenya.
All right, so that was just the two leaders, Kenyatta and Odinga, explaining that we have to, what we have to do to resolve the situations that we find ourselves in. I just want to take a look at what the Constitution says about should there be changes that the BBI proposes that would affect the Constitution. I just want to take you through Article 255, 256 and 257. First of all, these are clauses that would require a referendum. So you can sort of say that they are protected in the Constitution. First of all, it's the supremacy of the Constitution, that it is the supreme law, and anything that is inconsistent with it is inconsistent with the law to the extent of inconsistency. Thank you very much. Then the territory of Kenya would also require to be taken through a referendum. The sovereignty of the people, the national values and principles of governance. Article 10. That is Article 10. And then you look at the Bill of Rights, that is Chapter 4. Chapter 4. Yes, right. The term of office of the president. Yes, the term of office of the president, that should you want now to increase how long a term is, or how many times one candidate can run. Then the independence of the judiciary, commissions and independent offices, as well as the functions of parliament, the structure of devolved government, and also the objects of devolution. These are areas, should anything touch on these areas, then we have to go for a referendum. But before then there are other areas. This is how to conduct a referendum, that should you call for a national vote on a certain proposal, be it a bill or whatever, 20% of voters must vote in at least half of the counties. We are talking about 24 counties. So if you have 19 million voters, then 20% in every county, total 24 counties must participate for it to be valid. Then you win in a referendum if you're able to garner the simple majority. That is, if it's yes or no, then it has to be 50%, at least 50%. Then the other thing is that, let's just go to the next one. Article 256 is the Senate. These are the amendment via Parliament. So the first one was when you're carrying out that referendum. Now we're looking at one of the ways that you can use to amend a constitution. Yes, but the first... Okay, so let's take a look at the amendment via Parliament, that a bill can be introduced in any house of Parliament, that is the Senate and the National Assembly, and each has to pass the bill. But there's a caveat that it has to be two-thirds majority membership in that house. Then both speakers will submit the report, a certification that the bill has been passed to the President. Once that happens, then the President is to assent and publish the bill within 30 days of receiving that report from the two speakers of the houses. Then if the referendum bill touches on the clauses that I just took you through that are protected in the Constitution, a referendum will have to be called and conducted by IEBC. So there's one more thing, that Article 257, this is why you amend the Constitution via popular initiative. That is what Senator Gerald Gay is talking about. And we saw this with the attempt by Punguza Mizigo. You have to get 1 million signatures of voters. The IEBC will have to verify, then submit the bill and signatures. The bill and signatures have to be submitted to IEBC. IEBC verifies. Then if it is clear that 1 million signatures have been achieved, then the bill is submitted to county assemblies, who are supposed now to debate it. And at least 24 counties must endorse that bill. So Punguza Mizigo, I think they got how many? Was it 2 or 3 out of the 47 counties?
I think they were 3.
Yes, and that is why that journey died at that point. So assemblies will submit the bill to speakers once approved. Majority of MPs will have to pass the bill and submit to the President for assent. If either house defeats the bill, then a referendum would have to be called. Then I think that's it. So those are just some of the provisions. And I want to begin with the question that you're talking about. You'd want members of Parliament to sit at the cabinet level. Would that how would you amend that to make sure that members of the cabinet do not come from the rest of the public, but come from elected leaders? How would you achieve that?
Of course, as you have rightly said, under the Constitution, there are two ways of amending the Constitution. It's either popular initiative or a parliamentary initiative. Secondly, let me take you back to Sagana, and I hope my sister did attend the meeting. The president said, I need help from the elected leaders. So it means there is a nexus that is missing, because if these elected leaders were sitting with the president and they are sitting also in the cabinet, they would have assisted the president in formulation of policy making process. So when you talk about inclusivity in terms of ensuring that members of parliament sit in the cabinet, it should mean that it's a process of inclusivity, because the voter in their machinani, they want to see that nexus between that is why the voter, when they vote for us and even for the president, they don't care who is the cabinet minister, because they don't know that person. They didn't vote for that person. Okay. So when we say members of parliament to sit, it does not in any way threaten the principle of doctrine of separation of powers. All right. When you look, because in fact it facilitates, because you can imagine if as a cabinet secretary sits maybe in the Senate or National Assembly, it is even nowadays you have to go to parliament, seek a statement. That statement is being sent to the cabinet minister or the ministry concerned. They try and answer that statement. The chairperson in that committee comes back. But if you had somebody who the buck stops with, it would have been easier and even facilitated the issue of oversight.
But if that carries the day and the political class is in agreement that members of the cabinet have to come from parliament, how do you achieve that? Is it parliamentary initiative, popular initiative, or how do you do that?
It's parliamentary initiative.
That's sufficient.
Yes, that's sufficient. Yes. But if you have to change the structure of executive now, the way they are saying they want to create, maybe, I'm not preempting the BBI report, or if they want to kucheza kiputni. So if there's the prime minister...
What do you mean with that?
When you know Putni, what happens in Russia, where you become the president, then after some time you become the prime minister. So if they want to play such a game...
You think there's someone who wants to do that?
Of course, there are signs, telltale signs. I don't know who, but there are telltale signs there could be possibility. But what I wanted to say, if you want to, you know, the heart of the Constitution now, when you want to alter the structure of the executive, it means now the people must have a say. That is when now we'll choose either between presidential or parliamentary system.
And whichever the case, whichever the case, the parliamentarians come in. Why? If we go the referendum way, the person who go back there to talk to Wanjiku is the person who they elected.
Yes.
He's the person who represents them, who go and tell them, this is what this one entails, 1, 2, 3. Because at the end of the day, they gave that person the mandate to go and do it. Whichever, if it goes to parliament, again, it is the parliamentarians that will do it. And that is why you saw at Sagana, the president was talking to these readers, telling them, if it comes out, go and read it. Actually, he's the one who said, we go and read it first, and we understand it. Even me, I'm going further, and I'm telling people, not only is reading, this time, so that will not make a mistake, we translate it to
local languages,
yes, that people can understand, so that senator seated here will not just talk up there. The person at the grassroots can hold the way they hold their Bibles, or in a language they understand. And know this is what entails in this BBI.
This report. Without
that, many things, many changes can be done at the parliamentary level.
This is the question I want you, Senator, to think about. If this proposal you see on the front page of the Daily Nation, Prime Minister post, there's widespread speculation the team will call for creation of the position of PM and 2 DPMs. I want to ponder on that and tell me how that can be achieved through the Constitution. But